This video is regarding a 2002 Dodge Neon SXT. I actually already sold the vehicle, but I wanted to make this video before I sold it, never got around to it. I went on YouTube. There is one other video which is pretty good. It's got basically the similar information that I have, but I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. I believe that's under Neon Dash Leak, 2000 Neon Dash Leak. It's a short video. So first couple things on there, not necessarily related to the dash leak. What you should do anyway, just to try and clean everything up, is in your Dodge Neon, and again this is not the same car, but it doesn't matter, right underneath here you're going to see your blower motor. You release that with a couple screws. Reach your hand under there carefully. Do not stick any sharp objects in there whatsoever, because that's where your air conditioning and heater core are. So you're going to reach in there and you're going to feel some gunk, and I just dug it out with my hand. I actually ended up with an amount, probably a handful of stuff, debris. So you're going to clean that up. That's not what's causing your problem. You'd have to see a diagram of the blower box to know, but in effect, you do want to make sure that's clean so that so that the condensation area or any residual leak water that's coming into that area of the blower box is going to run through the drain. So what I did is I cleaned it up by hand. There was quite a bit of gunk in there. Then I fabricated this beautiful thing with an old garden hose, wrapped it in some duct tape, just an old piece of garden hose. I cut a little bit of an edge on it. Again, I mean, you're not jamming the thing in there, you're just trying to get some debris out. So what I did is I took that, insert that into end of a shop vac. It's just wrapped up, again, duct tape. Did some more vacuuming and cleaning in there. Then after that, I ran a garden hose, basically, in here through the hole for the blower box into the blower box where the drain area is. Had an assistant just turn on the hose just a little bit. Wanted to see that water was coming through there. It should drain right underneath the car, which it did. And then also turned it up just a little bit and just kind of try and rinse any loose debris down there. And after that, that fixes your that just ensures that the normal part of your drain is working. And again, in these videos, there's a misunderstanding that that's what's causing this drain issue. It's not. That drain is not designed to have gallons of water coming in. For example, my floorboard on my Neon, one time I got a rainstorm and the car was parked uphill a little bit, and I mean, I had 3 or 4 inches of water in my floorboard. That's not condensation. That's not related to the blower box. What that is that's water coming in through the air intake vent, and it's not designed to do that. The blower box drain that I'm talking about is designed for residual moisture and condensation in the system. So I hope that helps on that part, and I'll put some pictures up of what I did to try and mitigate the problem. Okay, there's the Dodge Neon. Actually, I put a tape and a plastic bag on the sunroof just to make sure that the sunroof wasn't causing this leak. That's how problematic it was. I had already gone in there and put some silicone in this, and it mitigated the leak by probably like 90%, but then it started getting worse again. Lasted about a year, so I had to go back in and redo it. I should have cleaned up the metal more, or maybe used the wrong kind of silicone, I think. So pay attention to that. So what you do is you start your car or turn the key on, get the wipers in the up position, and turn the power off. And that way that gives you a lot of room to move the cowling. I just completely took the cowling off to make it simple. You're going to move that with an Allen wrench. Also, the cowling has a little trim piece, a rubber trim piece. I just pulled that off. When you're getting it back on, go ahead and put some WD-40 on the plastic cowling piece and slide the trim piece over it. It doesn't snap over it. It slides through the groove of the rubber. So put some WD-40 on it. You'll be able to stick it back on there pretty easily, or clean it up too before you do that. Get any debris out of there. So here's one of the screws for the cowling. Uses some sort of Allen screw there. Here's the drain tray. And that little plastic grid area. Behind that is the air intake area where water is not supposed to be. It's next to that plug. You don't have to remove that plug. The reason you want to do that is if you're doing multiple tests, you'll need to take a sponge and dry out the air vent area to determine how many water leaks you have. There's another shot of it. I didn't test the water leaks on the driver's side. The other guy with the video did, so that might be a good idea. I tested the center of the cowling. You can see here I've got the hose there. Let it run. Didn't see any water coming in. So you can move the hose around a different place. I'd start from the driver's side and move to the passenger side. So what you have is some welds that are cracked somewhere. So I wanted to test that. I knew I had one bad weld for sure, and you'll see that later in the video. So the next thing, I just ran the hose there, simulate water running down there. Started to see some water coming inside the air intake area, but not a lot actually. Then moved the hose to a different location. Again, I put silicone in this area and it turns out the silicone fell apart. So once I stuck the hose down in this area, then the tray went ahead and just filled with water. So again, I knew that's exactly where my leak was. You can see the water in there, and then on the left you can see that's your air intake. So that thing completely fills up with water, and water runs down into your vent. So the main thing too is whatever you're sealing this up with, clean the surface really well with a wire brush maybe and some good degreaser. So the silicone that I had, it withheld the water and created more rust, so it exacerbated the problem. You can see some of the gunky silicone still on the left side that's still there. So I had to get a wire brush, clean it out, kind of took away some of the rusted area, and ended up putting JB weld on there. The JB weld I kind of layered up like roofing, started in the middle, patched the hole, and then layered it up underneath the windshield so it would kind of at least water would run down it. So here's the next picture. You can see showing you where the hole is, and the water's running right down into behind the firewall into the cowling there, which it's not supposed to do. So this ended up mitigating most of the problem. I would say occasionally the blower motor would still fill with a little bit of water and slosh, but the floor wouldn't get covered up. So that's not good either, because you're going to ruin your blower motor after a year because it keeps getting wet. But fix the problem for now. And I ended up selling the car, and the new owner knew what the problem was. I told him about it. So there's the JB weld, and again, that seemed to hold. So what you could do is you could do that, dry everything out, and then do some more water testing and see if there's any other leaks. Okay, hope that helps.